This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE and ECW wrestler, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. What's up, Meanie?
Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on
or good evening.
how you're feeling. Had a late night. Slightly early morning. Early for me.
Yeah?
But, yeah. The craziness abound in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say.
That's it. We promised from the very beginning we would not get political.
Yeah, that's
on
the
this
promise.
pod.
That's the tweet. No, man. Feeling pretty good. It's beautiful out. Beautiful day. Got my coffee. Got my seltzer. Got some water. Just feeling good, man. Feeling good. Normally, I'm around this time. I'm a little. Well, I'm having a little bit of an allergy issue that just decided to strike right before we started recording. It's like my eyes are like on fire, and
Meanie's itching over there.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. Like you said, pre-show, I'm going to turn into one big giant fucking hive.
Yes.
I'll look like the Clit from fucking the South Park movie.
Welcome to the hive of the Meanie. Hey, I will say this isn't. We're not going to be political one way or the other, but I do want to say that we are recording this Friday at 12:45 in the afternoon is when we're starting this, and we tend to go a long time. So I'm wondering, what are the chances that there is a president, a victor in this, not a victor, because that's just a gentleman who works in the White House. But no, will there be a winner by the time this show is over? And should we just keep going until there's a winner? I want to be able to announce it live on the air.
That'd be crazy, man. I should bring up the news on my gimmick here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because there's nothing better than us announcing it with all excitement. And the winner, the president is, and then people are like listening to this a week from now, and they're like, why are you wasting my time with this?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, man. If it is Biden, can we get an old Howard Finkel soundbite? Wouldn't that just be more exciting than like, and the winner, and it looks like, just like and new. That'd be fun. And still
reigning
WWE Hall of Famer.
I'm sure there's a soundbite of Finkel saying the president's name.
I'm sure.
So,
yeah. Announcing him out back when the president owned Monday Night Raw for like 2 weeks. You remember that?
Yeah. That was, and they say wrestling's fake and nobody believes that shit. But then they announced Trump bought WWE or bought Raw.
Yeah,
and it made like the major news story, major news outlets like it was legit. I was like, and you call wrestling fans stupid for who watches wrestling? Who believes that? The major media fucking announced it.
Yeah, look, we're all just a bunch of marks. And there's nothing wrong with that, and so much wrong with that. Meanie, you've got a great haircut.
Oh, thank you, man. Long overdue. Mrs. Meanie gave me a nice little trim.
It's funny. I have a long overdue right now.
Yeah, man. I posted with everything that's going on in Philly today. This yesterday and today. I unknowing. Well, I was wearing this shirt unknowingly, linking it to the things that were going on. I have a shirt from a company called Bark Tees, and the shirt says, "Philadelphia, no one likes us. We don't care."
Yeah, which was that was a big thing when we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's Philadelphia established 1886. No one likes us. We don't care.
Yeah.
In Eagles green. And then like all this stuff about Philly and the election, I was like, oh shit. Let me take a photo of me wearing the shirt. And I posted on social media, and my hair was like way out of whack. And Tracy tweeted back at me, "Get a haircut, you hippie."
Yes, yeah. I did see that.
Like, I was like, well, let's go upstairs and cut my hair. Man, so she gave me a nice little haircut overdue. I like when she cuts my hair. You know, I always tell her to go. I was like, don't be afraid of going too short, because I can always just grow back into my normal length, you know, before it gets into Kramer territory. But yeah, she did that, and then we've been busy trying to get the back room into our studio, so to speak. She's been painting the walls, and we're in the process of rearranging furniture, and it's going to be like the new the new Meanie Central studio or whatever. I'll probably move all this stuff up there, and we're just trying to figure that shit out. So I know you're doing stuff with your basement, and you're trying to get that shit figured out.
Yeah, I've been we're second coat of paint is on.
Is that normal? I mean, I'm not being goofy, but is that like, because she did we're painting the wall, or at least the wall I'm going to be using behind me blue. Shocker. Mm-hmm. And
where'd you come up with that?
Yeah, and then she went and did a second coat. So just waiting for that shit to do the thing. Set. Oh my God, I can't even speak today. We're waiting for that to set. So also. The room we're using used to be my mom's room when she lived with us before my sister started taking care of her. And we're going to turn that bed into like a day bed / unofficial couch that I'll be sitting on to film from and, do podcasting from and stuff like that.
So you're going to be filming from a bed?
Yes.
You're doing the podcast. So is this, what do they call those? The,
like John and Yoko,
No, I wasn't going with that. No, the it's one of those things, like everybody like has like a Twitch and a Cameo, and then like people have these like things where apparently they like it always struck me as like they were like getting all like sexed up over on these like for fans only or something. Like I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
I sound like such like an old person right now, you know, like, oh, what's with the book face and the
thingamajig.
That's awesome though. But no, as far as the multiple coats, so we started with primer, and then just 2 coats. And what happened, especially so we're doing the whole basement, and then my office / studio is going to be in there. So I've got like a gray in my office, and then I've got it's kind of like it's actually called White Duck. If anybody wants to go to Sherwin-Williams and make your room the same as my basement, White Duck and Repose Gray. I know that because I just before we were late to recording this because I had to go pick up 2 more gallons of paint at Lowe's. But
you were going to Lowe's before the podcast. I probably have to go to Lowe's after.
Yeah. Hey, can we get a sponsorship maybe?
Yeah, man.
No. So with the White Duck, which really kind of looks, I mean, I don't know why it's called White Duck. It's like a tan or like a beige or something, but it looks like if you had like white paint and a duck waddled into it, I guess. So that is so tough though after you've done the white primer, we needed to do 2 coats because you do that first coat and then you're like, all right, I think I did it. And then the next day you come back and it's dry and you're like looking at it and you're like, okay, I missed that spot. Cause it's so tough to see.
Yeah.
When it's like that white, but, yeah, so we're doing that. And, I just ordered, some baseboard and trim, for the doors, and, that's being delivered on Monday. So I'll cut that up and put that in, which is going to be so much easier than like cause I've done all like the woodwork on my kids' rooms and stuff and other stuff in the house cause our house was built in 86, had a lot of old school, like original stuff that just was kind of dated. So, I bought a miter saw and taught myself how to do the woodworking in an attempt to save money and listen to podcasts. That was actually when I discovered a lot of podcasts. When I was trying to think which one. I think that might be when I discovered something to wrestle. I was doing my son's room. Maybe that might be a lie, but it was one of the times I was working on something.
Fucking liar.
Well, I was listening to Jim Ross's old podcast, and he put them over, and that was how I was like, oh, that seems interesting. But anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Doesn't matter.
Canned duck.
Nah, so my office should be set up for those who want to see what it looks like. I would suggest that you check out Alternative Commentary this Saturday, tomorrow, 2 days ago, by the time you're hearing this.
Yeah, we're always on time.
Always on time. Yeah, but you can still check out Alternative Commentary on Fight for AEW Full Gear. Very exciting. We're looking forward to that. And I will be, for the first time in my new office, it will not be, I won't even have carpet or like a ceiling yet, but it'll be enough that it'll look good on camera. So, yeah, but,
and the election probably still won't be called by.
No, we'll be watching live during that.
Dude,
as well. Can we do alternative commentary for the election? We can just watch John King on CNN and his magic wall. Have you seen that?
No,
I have never seen.
I don't have cable, so
I flipped through so many different channels and just settled on CNN because of this man, John King. He is so, I wish that I was as passionate about anything like he is about his like numbers and clicking on the states and then like being and it started out, he was like all apologetic. Now he's like, as they say, he's a real cheeky monkey. He's really gone off the deep end, but I guess I don't think he slept in 3 days. So,
dude, I don't know how true this was, but somebody posted a video on Twitter of John King in the wall, and they were talking to like either Wolf Blitzer, and they went back to John King, and he went to swipe the wall, and there's like a porn hub.
So
I don't know if that was real.
So a friend of mine just showed me that. Here's the thing. That would have been everywhere if that happened.
Yeah.
Somebody superimposed that in, but it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Funny.
Bravo
I'm surprised
to whoever
more
fucking
hasn't
did
been superimposed in.
Yeah. Bravo to whoever did that. But yeah, I've been bouncing around between NBC. There's this guy who has a YouTube channel, Steve Lookner. He's pretty good.
That's the one you sent me, right?
Yeah, he's like Bill Alfonso. He calls it right down the middle. So,
down the middle, daddy.
Right? Yeah, that's right, daddy. And dude, he did a 17-hour fucking video stream. Like I watched him last night. I went to bed. I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, he probably just woke up. He's like, no, I'm still going.
You know what he was just doing there, Meanie? He was those are fighting words to the mind of the Meanie. It's like, you guys think that your 3.5 hour shows are impressive?
You fucking pussies. I'm sitting here in my own excrement.
And you know what? I mean, in all fairness,
I am.
You've been, and we're only about 10 minutes in. So,
give her a few.
Yeah, you definitely did.
It'll be the first time I shit myself on the job.
So I want to shifting gears from shitting yourself
to pissing myself.
I've been pissing myself all week every time I look at the Mind of the Meanie action figures.
Yeah.
So now the world knows. And just what has been the response that you've gotten, Meanie?
Dude, it's one thing to get a response from people in the wrestling bubble, wrestling fans, wrestling friends. But a lot of my friends outside the wrestling bubble, they know I'm a wrestler. They don't really follow wrestling, but they know me. The most they know about wrestling is me.
Right.
And their feedback has been like, oh my God, that looks fucking great. And I have a friend, Justin, who's a shout out to Justin. He's got Farpoint Toys in Mays Landing, New Jersey. And he doesn't watch wrestling, but like he sells wrestling toys and shit like that, it's part of his business. And he's like, dude, the old Hasbro line. I was like, yep. So his reactions to it have been pretty cool. It's one thing, wrestling fans will appreciate the old style Hasbro action figures. but they see the response from my friends who aren't really into wrestling, but they're into me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that feedback has been pretty cool. They've done a good job when those folks are reacting like, "Holy shit, that looks pretty sharp."
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of from like friends and family have just been like, I've got friends who aren't on social media and like family sent them a picture. My friend called me. He's like, so I hear you're getting an action figure, and I'm like, apparently, but I'm so excited about it, and people have just loved them. They're like, these look so good. These just look, it's like, it's been so much fun to see other people's excitement. We have, Derek Price, one of our Patreon members here, just wrote, happy report. I got 3 Mind of the Meanie 2
Oh my
packs.
God.
And Aldous pre-ordered, which is cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, go there, show Cella Toys some love, get a Nick Aldous figure as well.
They're great folks, man.
Yeah, Devin Miller's asking how are pre-sales. Pre-sales are great. We kind of had our game plan of what we wanted to accomplish in the, I want to say the sales we wanted to do by December 1st. We kind of had like a number in mind. And day 1, we passed a quarter of that number.
Yeah.
So we were like, right off the bat, we're like, okay, I guess these are going to move. Like Cella Toys has put out a thing that they've got, less than 350, left from Cella Toys, like what they're going to be selling. Cause obviously it was a limited run of 1,000. And, Meanie and I got our hands on a few so that we're going to be able to do some fun giveaways, keep them for ourselves.
Yes.
And then, of course, also sell them eventually when the world returns to normal and we can go to live shows and things like that. We want to be able to have some to sell. But that was only a tiny amount. So then we also have JB Toys and Collectibles in the States who are selling them. I'm sorry, I got distracted by one of our posts here. I thought for a second we had shoddy Wi-Fi, but it's just one of our Patreon members. So plug in, brother. No, but
you own the fan base.
So JB Toys and Collectibles, they have them. But Cella Toys, I believe they kept for themselves a certain amount, and they're already down to less than 350. So and I know that of that 1,000, they had the bulk of the amount. So that's amazing to me.
Every time I hear JB Toys, I think of the old school store KB Toys.
Yeah, well, I think that, his logo's even the same. Yeah,
I think it's the desired effect, but
yeah.
But yeah, man, this has been so flattering, so cool that we're gonna have I'll have a second action figure, and then you getting your first. Yeah, I'm sure you're feeling how I felt when I got my first. You're feeling now.
Yeah.
Like the excitement, anticipation of getting that thing and holding it in your hand.
I can't wait. Yeah. And
then holding your action figure.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have 2 hands. And why I'm going to get multiple replacement action figures. But, no, it's true.
Here's the first coat.
I have that. It's just the primer. I have.
Oh, gray duck.
White duck.
Oh, my bad.
Duck use. All right. So, the
smoking a blunt.
So I wonder if, that feeling, like, it's a weird thing because you have like you who I think the majority of your fans spent 20 years going, where the hell is my Blue Meanie action figure? Right. So then I'm sure looking at it going, I'm a professional wrestler. I'm like the most toyetic wrestler there is. Like I look like I should be an action figure. Why aren't I?
My character's straight out of the 80s.
Yeah. So like by the time you got one it had to have been not just the excitement of, the fan in you or just the, the guy looking at himself in figure form, but also the feeling of like, finally, like,
It's a feeling of a victory.
Mm-hmm.
Because, over the years, people, excuse me, fans had, folks had made custom figures. They would take like a Dusty or a different action figure and make a custom Blue Meanie. And I was gifted a couple of those, and those are awesome. You know, that nice personal touch. But as a professional in your chosen field, you want a company to make an investment in you. There's something about a company making an investment, saying, "Okay, you're worth the money,
right,
of us making this product." And when Figures Toy Company made that, my first figure, you know, the big, it was a big feeling of relief. You know, back in late '90s, early 2000s, I forget what the magazine was, but there was a article of the most requested wrestlers who've never had an action figure, and this is like a national magazine. I'm sure I have it somewhere in this fucking house, my hoarder house. But I was on there. I was on that list. I wasn't number one, but I was on the list. And then years of people saying, "Hey man, where's your action figure? Where can I get your action figure?" And you have to go, "Well, I don't have one."
Yeah.
Yeah. When me and Mrs. Meanie first got together, her brother Jay was like, he was the one brother that was in the wrestling. He found out she was talking to me. He automatically ran out to see if I had an action figure. And I was on the phone, and she's like, "My brother Jay wants to know, why don't you have an action figure?" I was like, "Oh, this ain't a deal breaker."
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like it is like that had to have been such a frustrating thing, because there are certain things in certain professions, especially when it's like an entertainment profession, that is like they always say like, "Oh, you've made it when," right?
Right.
And for a professional wrestler, that is, I think, one of those things. Like when when you get your first T-shirt that's being sold, right? When you get your first, first match on a specific show or something. Like there are all these different milestones. Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, for me, when you're talking about the excitement, and I don't mean this at all to be self-deprecating. As a kid, all I wanted was an action figure. I posted online when I was 9 years old. I called Hasbro. We talked about that last week.
Yes.
But all I wanted was an action figure. And when I was, wrestling and pursuing a career in wrestling, that was, of course, on my mind of, hey, that would be awesome one day. I'll get like a nice action figure. Oh, man, I hope this gear looks good, because that would be cool for an action figure, even though there was no way that gear was getting turned into an action figure. But, I always wanted that. Yeah. And then my career ended 12 years ago. And even when I got back into the wrestling business, doing stuff with, be it when I was doing the podcast with Bill, when I was doing stuff with Fight TV, and even doing the podcast when we started doing the podcast together. Then I've got, all these different shows, all these things. But the thought of ever having my own action figure was nowhere in my head, because that just wasn't what I was doing in the business anymore. I wasn't attempting to be a character that people were going to go, I need that action figure. Or so I thought. And so now to have it is just, and on top of everything else, all of my years of dreaming to have that, were back when I was, single guy, whatever. Now to have kids who I've watched their obsession over your action figure. I don't mean that in a jealousy way, but because I wouldn't want them doing to me what they've done to your figure. But we're looking for Meanie's pants. But
they're never up.
That's a shoot. I don't know what happened to them. Your figure comes with actual pants that came off.
The meanie theory of gravity is, if I have something in both hands, my pants are falling down. That's a fucking straight shoot. But go ahead.
No, all I was gonna say is it's really a cool thing to be able to, show your child a figure of you and have her go, that looks weird. That was the reaction I got from my daughter. That looks weird.
Kids keep it honest, I guess.
I mean, it's better than when the caricature that they did of me for the video game, Retromania.
Yeah, I
show it to my daughter, and she's like, haha, that looks horrible. It's like, wow, okay, thank you. So
back to the basement.
Yep. Well, now that the basement's going to be nice and finished, I guess we'll just put her in the attic.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No. That's ridiculous. We have a shed out back.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Child Protective Services are at my door.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd like to remind everyone this is an entertainment podcast. And
Yes.
hey, you want to crack one of these open?
Oh, yeah, please.
I got a dragon fruit berry.
I have a watermelon grape.
Ooh, what's your company? I got Wegmans.
This might be Wegmans. I'm
Let
not
me
sure.
see.
Not 100%. It doesn't say.
Let's see the packaging here. I'll let you know, Meanie.
Yeah. Show me up on my own goddamn fucking podcast.
Okay. No, I know where it is. Do you not want me to say what it is?
Tell me, what is it?
Isn't that the Giant logo?
I've never been to. I don't think I've ever been to a Giant though. Oh, you know what? In Connecticut, I was.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
I didn't know if this was like all of a sudden. Like I also shop at Giant. I didn't
No,
know if this was like I said Wegmans, and you're like, well, I can't
No.
know it's a Giant.
Dude, CTE, brother. I went to when we were in Connecticut. We went seltzer shopping before we came back.
Yes.
Because we had a family emergency we had to go up there for, and we came back with a shit ton of seltzers. We're like, A, awesome. There's different brands up here. B, there's no, the tax is cheaper. So
let's crack this open. Then I got a question for you.
Yeah, please.
All right. Go Birds next week.
Go Birds next week.
You know what? Go Birds this week too. Why not?
Why not?
So I'm looking at your BWO belt behind you, which
yes.
I kind of, drool over every so often. One of our...
I need to get a dusty extender for it so I can actually fucking wear it.
Dusty extender. I know that's legit.
He had one.
I know. It just cracks me up. You know what? As a kid, though, I didn't know. And I used to, think to myself, God, that belt must be so long. Like the pictures of him wearing the belt.
Yeah. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, Randy Savage was so skinny they had to put Velcro on the belt so he can wear it.
I guess WWE is expecting Randy Savage to be champion again one day because they're all Velcro now.
Are they?
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all Velcro.
I was just watching, shout out to Conrad Thompson and Ad Free Shows. He's got his collection over there, and he's got the first ever Intercontinental belt in his possession. And the backing is Velcro.
Wow. Which
is pretty cool. And the back of the belt's actual carpet, which is weird.
That's really weird. It's
got a smell.
So I've got, oh, God.
I know what I do to carpet.
It's what, 1970s baby oil? And I'm just talking about your carpet. Fun fact, does not match the drapes.
I have a wooden floor. I'm just kidding.
So, no, but here's the thing. So I remember when things were getting, serious at one point. And I don't know if it was Brock Lesnar had the belt over his shoulder and he's going to, but it's closed up and he's going to take it off, or maybe it was around his waist and he goes to take it off, a fight's going to ensue. And he goes to pull it off and you hear this. I'm sorry, that, and yeah, I have props here, but that kills it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, here, we're ready. We're in the ring. No, this is hard. What are you doing? It's not Velcro. There's nothing. And I get that it
What
really
are those sound effects people called in the movies who have the celery sticks? And
oh, yeah, for breaking bones. It's all, yeah. No, I was going to describe that sound and try and do it with my mouth. And then I noticed that I had my, this is my wireless mic container that I use for So Shernoff. And I had it on my desk still, and it's Velcro. So you're welcome, everyone. No, I get that snaps are not any different, but listen.
Oh, here comes some more propage.
Yeah, but there's a difference between I'm going to take off my belt and you got that, or I'm going to take off my belt and you got that. And I'm sorry, there's just, to me,
put that thing up close to the camera so I can look at it. I mean, I've only been in your driveway, so.
Yes, so, yeah, this is the belt. It says Teenage Wrestling Foundation. Join Patreon so that you can see it. There's TWF on there. And then it's a little different than like the regular winged eagle. Like it doesn't have the bars on the side. It has this thing. They gave me Reggie Parks threw this in as like just being a nice guy, the TWF champion thing on the back. And then you can see here also the where is it? It says this Reggie Parks signature on there. And then if you look real close, let me see where I can find it. Real close, you see some of those like scrapes on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from Bubba Ray Dudley. So,
Bubba's amazing. I love Bubba.
yeah, you know what? I actually really like Bubba. I was on the fence about him once upon a time, but I actually, he and I have always had very nice interactions in recent years.
Yeah, it's like always people are like, oh, Bubba's a bad cop, Devon's a good cop. They were both good cops to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think,
he just had me on. They had me on Busted Open last week. He invited me on to talk about Tracy Smothers, so that was pretty cool.
So I jumping back to the belt. The only reason I want to
Yeah.
No. The only reason I want to talk about that is one of our Patreon members, one of our Pod Squad members, had said something about like they want a replica of the BWO belt, and then they even said, and if Josh ever made one of his, I'd want to buy that too. Which, listen, buy out all of my action figures first, and but nobody needs my belt. It's very flattering, but nobody needs my belt. But yours is definitely one of those things I look at it because now like WWE is really big in this. You know, they did the Fiend one for like $40,000 or whatever the hell, I don't know. And now they're doing like for like it's like something like $700 or something for an Undertaker 30th anniversary belt, and they keep putting out these replicas that are designed for the specific talent. They have Hogan has one, Savage has one, like
really? What's
it's really cool. Like? So you got guys like Hogan. It's the winged eagle, but it's got like a different strap to it. It's like yellow and red, and it's kind of neat. Savage is much like, so I'll talk about Undertaker in a second, but Savage, his is like a totally different design, and it's like kind of pays homage to the old school Intercontinental, but also has other stuff. Really? And Undertaker's is like the winged eagle, but silver and like has other stuff in it to be like the Undertaker's belt. What I find amazing is all of these are way better than the John Cena spinner. Which, did you ever watch the thing on the network where Edge showed the artwork that he had drawn up of his own belt when they told him that when he beat Cena, they wanted him to get his own custom belt?
Right.
And he like went home and drew this thing, kind of paid homage to the original Intercontinental, and it had like rated R in the middle. It was so cool looking. And they're like, nah, I think we're just gonna put like a rated R Superstar logo in the spinner part. Which is annoying. But going back to it, have you ever thought, if there was a market for it, have you ever thought about trying to sell some replicas of the BWO?
Not really. It's like the belt's like a personal thing for me. You know, it's what's that?
No, I was gonna say Matt Cardona, who we're gonna circle back to in a minute because we gotta give them a shout out, but. Matt Cardona has like 50 belts now that he just keeps making belts for himself, but he has the major wrestling figure.
If I had the budget, I'd probably be doing the exact same thing.
Oh God, absolutely. So he has the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast belt, and they were doing a thing where they were going to like give away like a one of the belts, and he was like, I don't want, like, it's got to look different somehow. Like it has to have something that looks different than the one he has, because he wants to have the real one, and they kind of were like ragging on him on the podcast about it. But I agree. I understand that. Like, it's one of those things like we're talking about our action figures. They're a limited of 1,000. And your first thought would be, as soon as we just started seeing that these were like selling really fast, your first thought is like, well, man, we're going to have to make more. We're going to have to bump this up to 2,000. But then I look at it and I go, no. Like, this has got to be 1,000 because that's what makes them worth something. That's what makes them a collector's item. And if you get, if you sell out all 1,000, then, trust me, I've planned the next 15 lines of figures for us. So, but no, so I understand that. So back to what you were saying though.
No, it's just like I got the BWO belt. It's everything going the belt was like it was a collaboration between me and Andrew from Wildcat Championship Belts. And the funny thing is I had seen I was at a convention, I saw somebody had an NWO belt that had like the NWO guy had Hogan, Hall, and Nash on there. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like, man, I should get a BWO belt made. So that was the whole impetus of me getting it, and it's more of it's stuff like I've had stuff having like a bowling trophy or whatever, this or that and the other thing. It's just something to commemorate one of the coolest parts of my career, and just to have it for myself.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to do something slightly different, like like Matt Cardona, what is doing, said it would have to be different.
Hey,
okay, maybe do that. It's like
kind
of like
maybe a mind of the meanie belt.
Yeah,
could happen.
Yeah, and it's like when I got my I'll show you my Blue Meanie tattoo.
Whoa! Hey, no
What?
No guns. Indoors here. Come on.
It's Philly.
Yeah. Meanie was showing off the old buys and tries.
Yeah, it was like I don't know.
No, you're showing. So yeah. But looking at
I
your
got my
tattoo.
Blue Meanie tattoo,
Mhm.
and they're like, people are like, oh, I got a tattoo. Well, no, Mrs. Meanie designed this artwork, and it's always they say it's taboo to get your significant other's name tattooed on her. So I was like, well, there's no rule against getting her artwork. So this tattoo on my arm is a symbolism, for me and Mrs. Meanie, for me and Tracy.
Which is awesome. And also, you know what?
But I also had somebody, not to cut you off,
No.
but I'm going to cut you off. The reason why I brought up the tattoo is I had some people going, oh, can I get that tattoo too? I was like, please don't.
Yeah.
This is like a thing between me and my girl. I don't want anybody else to really, really have this tattoo.
How about, have you seen online the fan who went and got, he's such a big AJ Styles fan. He got the AJ Styles tattoo in the exact same spot that says AJ and has all of AJ Styles' kids' birthdays on it.
That's a little creepy.
That's fucked up. But
I
will show you, since we're stripping down and showing as far as tattoos. So I actually have on here the Shernoff S.
There you go.
But I didn't get a tattoo of the Shernoff S as Conrad Thompson named it. That's why I call it that. The S that I have on all of my, my logos and stuff.
Smart.
The S for all of my logos is because that was my tattoo that I had on my arm that I got when I was 18, and I wanted a tattoo because I was going to be a cool wrestler. And I got an S, my last name Shernoff, and Superstar, and all that stuff, and but then when it was like, what should I put, for a S? What should it be for? So says Shernoff, for all these things. Well, now it's a no-brainer. I have a tattoo of this specific font and logo, so that's how that happened. But hey, I encourage all of you, go get a So says Shernoff tattoo. Free action figure to anyone who gets a So says Shernoff tattoo. But anyway,
but yeah, no, that's a strong logo though. That's a good logo,
Yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is at this point. I really forget that I have it, because now I don't. When you're younger, you're running around. You don't have you're shirtless in the summer. I'm not shirtless in the summer. I'm not doing that. I got
I'm
my farmer's tan.
I'm half shirtless.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so funny. You got you're so says Shernoff, and you got the Shernoff shirt and the Smirnoff logo.
Yes.
Because I have my buddy Donnie who listens, always calls you Smirnoff by accident, and then you found out you had a Shernoff shirt. He's like, "Oh, thank God!"
Yeah, I have that one was just. I mean, because I've heard that for so long, I've even had people be like, "What's your name?" Josh Shernoff. Oh, are you related to the, like Smirnoff vodka? And I'm like, Well, my middle name's Vodka, but other than that, no, I'm not. But I've actually wanted to have a shirt made, so maybe I'll talk to Andy Slichter, see if he wants to do this. I have a hat. I'm actually looking at it on the shelf over there that from Shernoff Salads, which was my dad's company. Made coleslaw, potato salad, all that stuff. So
awesome.
They were very, they were down in South Philly, and they were very. Chances are you've had it before because a lot of. I think we may have talked about it once or twice on the show, but a lot of places paid extra for them to put their own logos on. So, like I remember in the Willow Grove Mall, Baines Deli would always, I'd be like, oh, where'd you get your potato salad? And they'd be like, oh, we make our own. Well, they didn't, like, because I knew that our family actually provided it. But but they paid extra for it to be, homemade potato salad that Shernoff Salads was making. So I'm sure you living in South Philly, I'm sure you have had it.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
If you can remember back to the best potato salad you've ever had, that was it. But the logo, Shernoff Salads there, I've always wanted to do like a So Says Shernoff shirt in that logo, like in that style. Nobody would get it, but it's just something like, for me, like just to be able to have that would be kind of fun. But so maybe I'll send that over to Slichter. But anyway, so going back to the action figures, huge shout out to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Matt Cardona specifically for being the one to bring it up, but also Brian Myers and Smart Mark Sterling over there. Put over on the podcast that dropped today. They put over today being Friday. Put over the new Mind of the Meanie action figures.
It was so kind of them, so cool of them.
Yeah, really very cool. And I mean to have them put it over. Slichter just messaged, you have my contact information. So no, but he's actually working on something for me for a future alternative commentary. For a tie. Went to him for a tie design. So the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast putting over our action figures it doesn't get better than that. There's nobody bigger in the wrestling figure community who can put over your action figures than them.
That's literally their wheelhouse is action figures. They have an action figure federation.
Yes, exactly. Now then, so yeah, we need to figure out how we can get into their figure.
Well, now they have you as an interviewer.
That's what they need to do.
You could be their Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Know?
Oh man, tough little plastic shoes to fill. But but yeah,
holy balls.
I am. I'm very excited about these figures, and I thank them again so much for putting that over. And I'm excited to, we'll make sure they get those figures in hand, and maybe we can see if they'll do a unboxing for us, or one of those types of things.
And my pants won't come off this time.
No, well, I mean, look, it might take a little more effort, but but I believe in them. But thank them and thank you everybody. And listen, if you haven't gotten these figures yet, and I'm going to put up for anyone who's watching this on Patreon, if you haven't gotten these figures yet, go right now. If you're outside the U.S., go to cellatoys.net. That's where you want to go to get these figures. If you're inside the U.S., you can still go to cellatoys.net if you'd like to. But you can also go to Instagram at JBToys1 and send him a DM. He'll hook you up there. And you'll be able to just kind of do a quick PayPal type exchange, and he'll get that for you. And if you do it by November 15th, and this is timely because this actually airs before November 15th. If you do it before November 15th, you will get a signed, and we threw it up on the screen here, you'll get signed concept art. The original concept art, this is the stuff that they sent us back and forth. This was the final art that they sent us, but we went back and forth to approve what we wanted these figures to look like. These were the designs that were put together. So it's really just kind of neat. It's kind of like like you can even see on mine here, says, has a picture of my fist with a wedding ring and says wedding ring added to left hand. Like, It has hand drawings of the different decals for our shirts and for my tie and for my microphone cube there. So really very cool. And these are, again, it's collector's items that these are going to be for a limited time. If you order before November 15th, you get them. If not, you don't get that. It's not, we're not going to be giving that out again. So, unless we order too many, unless it's cost effective for us to order 2,000 of them, and then we'll just be giving them away. But you'll get those free, absolutely free. So you'll just shoot us over a DM with your proof of purchase and address, and we'll sign those and send them out to you. So please go check that out right now and order those, because again, they're marked to sell, like price wise. Meanie, I think like we definitely.
Oh, absolutely. For a double pack.
Yeah,
that cost it's basically a steal.
$30.
Yeah,
I mean it's $15 a figure. That's not a lot, for considering it's such a limited run collector's thing. But yeah. Oh, and Jim Stibbins is asking me not to tempt him on the tattoo, because one of his friends is a tattoo artist, and he's only paid for one of his 7 tattoos. So rock and roll, man. If you want to do that.
I'm dying to get a new tattoo, man. I want to get a tattoo so bad. It's somewhere between Eddie Van Halen and George Carlin or something. I don't know.
How about George Carlin playing
Eddie Van Halen's guitar? Hey, he played the guitar in the Bill and Ted's movie. Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Bill and Ted thing, because they were inspired by two of my favorite things, Van Halen and George Carlin. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So what else is going on, man?
Not much, man. Just trying to stay sane in these crazy times.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid going on any other kind of, wear your mask kind of ramp, but with the numbers going up and shit, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad that you actually brought that up, because we've been, I have never watched the news as much in like a 3-day period as I have now.
Right. Same here.
And I will say, you hear nothing about COVID, because everything is focused on the election. And again, we're recording this in the afternoon on Friday. So hopefully by the time you're hearing this on Monday, we're not talking about the election anymore and it's done. But yeah, we set a new record 2 days in a row at this point.
Yeah.
Most cases in a single day, over 100,000. Not over. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Over 100,000 cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's such an absurd number that I said it out loud and thought to myself, "Oh man, that's way too big. That's not the right number."
There's no way, right?
Yeah. So just wear a mask. Here's the thing. It's not, we talked before, we don't get political on this show. I will never believe that is political. And I know people who are hardcore Republican, hardcore Democrat, and they both wear masks. So, and they both believe that this is science, that this is important. Like, so this is not, if you think that one way or the other, if you think that this is political, that's just ignorant. So wear a mask, stop letting people get sick. I know a lot of people. I have currently just found out yesterday, I have a family member who has it. Thankfully it's not too bad. They more or less have like cold-like symptoms. And we're all just kind of sitting here going, I hope it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah.
And that's
all you can do is hope.
And now I'm hearing of these people. There are people who have been, someone's mother that one is like a friend of my sister's or something. I don't remember exactly who it is, but has lower immune systems, been in quarantine basically since March, doesn't leave the house, hasn't gone anywhere, just got it. How? and that's the scary thing is like, with something that's airborne like that. So just, wear your masks, be diligent about this. Other countries are starting to lock down again.
Yeah. I have friends in England who are like, here we go again.
Yeah. And here's the thing. None of us want to be locked down again. None of us. And there's a way to keep from being locked down. Wear a mask. Right. Wear a mask. Be smart. Don't do things that you shouldn't be doing. Pay attention to the news. That when an event is a high risk.
Right.
Don't go. Don't do that.
Right.
You see a packed restaurant. Don't go in there. Because guess what? It's airborne. And we'll only have so many people in here. And you take your mask off to eat, but that's okay. You're at your own table. Well, guess what? It goes around. It's like...
It's kind of like how they had a smoking and non-smoking section on airplanes back in the a couple decades ago.
Yeah, this row is I'm
no the row behind the smoking section. I should be fine, right?
You know what, though? And that is a perfect example, Meanie. Smoking. If you have ever just been standing somewhere and going, who's smoking? And you look, and so far down even outside, it's like down the block from you, someone is smoking, and you're smelling this.
Or in the case of my street, weed.
Right. Yes. But at least then you're getting a contact high, right? So but if you look at it, smoking is just the perfect way to think about this. Yeah. Because if you can smell that, that means that particles of that have managed to travel through the air, 100 feet, 200 feet, whatever it is.
That's why Mrs. Meanie hates chewing gum. Because, she'll be near somebody and she'll smell it. And she's like, and mentally, I know their breath is entering. I'm breathing in their breath.
Yeah, I think she said that once on the show before. Because I remember her saying that. And that got me thinking. I was like, oh, that's an upsetting thing to think about. But it's true. And so, but that's the type of stuff when you walk past somebody and you, first of all, you walk past someone and their breath smells like shit. Well, the clearly you're standing further enough away from them. What about when you smell somebody even and you just go like, oh man, they smell like coffee. Well, they didn't pour it on themselves. It's coming from their breath. So the thing is this isn't hard to understand. Nobody wants to be locked down again.
No.
So just and then everyone who's going to complain the hardest about being locked down are the people who are going to be responsible for us being locked down again. Just stop being stupid. Just put on a mask.
Don't be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad breath, there's not worse than somebody who has the worst breath. And they don't get the fucking visual hint that the breath stinks, like you jumping back 3 feet, just like, oh, hey,
I think also some of the worst thing nowadays, all the social distancing. I'm worried that people are, when they're allowed to get close together again, people are not going to realize that they've they're just going to smell someone's breath. And even if it's normally would have been fine, it'll just be so shocking to them to smell another person's breath that it's going to be, dude, I'm going to be doing that social distancing thing for so long. It's going to be 4 years from now. People are going to come over to shake my hand. And I'll be like, I'm social distancing. You never know when it could pop up again.
The fucked up thing is the whole waiting in the line to get in the store. Once you get into the store and there's less people in there, I'm actually for that.
I mean,
because people don't know people have no sense of fucking personal space when you're fucking shopping.
No,
and you're looking at something and they come right up on you and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Back the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
Like Sebastian Bach said, you ain't my old lady, you ain't a tattoo. Shut the fuck up.
We were, my wife and I were out looking at, flooring for the basement the other day, and we had to go out somewhere to actually look, at the stuff. And, we had our masks, and they had at the store, they had a nice station set up for, for your hand, for whatever, Purell and stuff, no one has Purell. They all have.
There was a bidet.
Yeah, there's. Wash your hands, wash your ass before you come in the store. But then there's the guy there who's like,
don't have to wash your whole ass. He's got to wash your asshole. No words of Red Fox. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't ever apologize.
I have to get these thoughts
service
out.
announcement like that.
Yeah.
But hey, this is mind of the meanie. This is we're supposed to be going into your mind. Some people are like, why does no one's actually said this, but I assume people think, why does Josh talk so much and give his opinions? This is mind of the meanie. I like to think it's A, because I can't stop talking, and B, because I now live in your mind. Yeah. I have been sucked into the mind of the meanie.
You're the tour guide.
Yeah, I am the tour guide.
Well, and that's the thing. If this was just me talking for an hour, it would be fucking boring, probably. Because I know a lot of guys who did podcasts on their own, and it was just them, and they're like, man, to just talk straight for an hour, it's fucking hard. So I'm glad me and you bounce off each other so much, And
it's funny, in the beginning, a fun fact, everybody, when we were trying to come up with a name, you had actually, one of the names that you had pitched was Hold My Calls with Josh and Meanie.
Yeah.
And my first
that was my thing at McCusker's. I would post a photo of my beer, and I would simply say Hold My Calls,
And my first thought was like, well, I can't get front billing on this thing too, but I also, I was the one who was like, nah, I really wanted this to be pretty much what it's become, like our logo by the great Hal Haney, it's you. I wanted this to play off of this character that you built, because I thought that you're very marketable. But no, I have opinions, and this is the only place I'm allowed to give them. So.
But me and you are pretty much in the same ballpark on a lot of things. So.
Yes. Well, half the things I'm thinking are things you texted me earlier in the day. So
there's that.
Yeah.
There's that. But yeah, it's just been a pleasure. Even if this is all over, hopefully one day we actually get to, do an episode in person, for shits and giggles.
We've talked about this so many times. We have so many plans, so many things of what we would love to be able to do.
And what feels like forever,
Yeah. I mean, when we started this at the end of March, right? It was the end of March.
Yeah. I mean, thank God we didn't wait for this to be over to start a podcast.
Yeah, right. But when we start, first of all, I can't imagine how I would have made it through with my sanity if we didn't have this show to A, look forward to every week to do, but B, to focus on every day throughout the week. I've been able to focus on this and try and build things. And we have all this exciting stuff with the action figures and merchandise and all that stuff that, like, take that away. Yeah, I still would have had a lot of stuff to do, but I needed that distraction. And this has been such an enjoyable distraction. To
talk to the outside world.
Yeah, like Glitter Fist right now says, March. That's when we started. And
wow.
Yeah. Which, first of all, shout out to Glitter Fist for being one of our down since day one-ish. Very
cool.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This has been a...
you just hit the reset button.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, Glitterfist says, same dudes, I love listening and not dealing with life. And one of the things I do want to scroll back because our Patreon members are here.
Yes.
There's been a little bit between Jonathan Chambers and, talking about saying compliance is getting poor here in Scotland. It's awful to see. And I mean, that sucks. But one of the cool things is we have people listening to us and watching this right now from places like Scotland. And that's been something in a time where we've been so locked in to our homes, like barely able to leave.
Yeah.
We've had this opportunity to not just interact with other people, but interact with other people all over the world.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's not something that either of us have taken lightly. Do you want to go to a quick commercial break? And when we return, we'll talk about things.
Yes.
All right.
We'll jibber jabber.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit about homage.
Homage.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. If you want in on the best wrestling tees in the business, Homage has you covered. All the styling, profiling, limousine riding looks from the rings of yesterday and today in super soft fabric and comfortable fits you can't get enough of.
Yeah, that's right, man. I've been a fan of Homage for years. I've been wearing their shirts for years, everything from pro wrestling to pop culture. And, dude, I get so many reactions out and about in the wild when I'm wearing my Dusty Rhodes shirt, or I'm wearing I'm a Funker shirt, or my old school ECW shirt. Homage makes shirts that are comfortable and stylish and definitely retro, which is the thing I've loved about them for years.
Mind of the Meanie listeners, you can use the coupon code MEANIE for 20% off your first purchase at homage.com. That's HOMAGE.com.
Ooh, yeah, the homage.com. Freak out! Freak out! Freak out!
All right. One thing I want to talk about is I got these
Yes.
little fun things here, and we talked about this last week that these don't fit. So these are our mic cubes for alternative commentary and for Mind of the Meanie. I talked to the company. We're going to send these back. We're going to get our full refund. And the problem we're running into is these amazing Rode mics. Apparently, like, no one makes anything that fits them. So even the small ones, Meanie, remember I sent you the thing where they're like, do you want the small one or the long arm? I don't think the small one's going to fit because they can't go any like shorter than this height-wise. And that's like not, and they can't get around this part. I don't know what we're going to do. So I think we might get one of those long arm things.
Well, my arm, let me see how far my arm comes into the shot here.
I mean,
I would kind of have to,
have
tip
to
everything over too.
reposition. Yeah, we'd have to reposition, but I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. You know what we'll probably end up doing? Like, I've got this one here sitting next to me from On the Ropes. Like, this is the kind I have. We'll definitely get things like this made for when we're doing live shows.
But you figure something could fit around this. I'm sure this field sounds great.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's so excited to be listening to this.
Yeah, just,
So, like, this could, like, what I've got right here, but that's because I've got this extension gimmick here, but I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. This is the
like
worst
this
podcast.
little round part
I've
here.
ever-
Can't it fit around that?
Yeah, but it's a height issue. So, it's a height issue. Anyway. So, for those of you who have left, I do want to say alternative commentary came to you 2 days ago on Fight TV.
What a show.
Yes. It was great. We had but alternative commentary this month, we have 2 episodes coming up, so we can plug our next one, which is going to be November 22nd, I believe is the date, for WWE Survivor Series. Excited about that one. And both are sponsored by Manscaped.
Nice.
So use the promo code ALTCOM. It's ALTCOM. And get yourself some Manscaped. It's available now, the promo code. So rock and roll. Go over there. If you don't want to use that, use promo code Meanie. Doesn't matter. It's all the same thing.
We're multitaskers.
Yeah. So we'll hook you up with a great way to clean your undercarriage, no matter what promo code you use. So, but I'm excited about that. Doing alternative commentary, that'll be fun again. Let's talk a little bit about Patreon. Patreon, we're winding down now. Less than a month until our new tiers, and I am so excited about what's going on. I can't wait for this month's Zoom call. That's gonna be a blast.
That last one was great, man. It was cool to have everybody in the room just chit-chatting, kind of like we're in the bar.
Yeah.
You know, hanging out.
I just want people to, I shouldn't be pushing this, but I'm going to. Okay. Join now so that you're grandfathered in. We've got so many people. We had, I think, like, in the last couple of days, a handful of more subscribers to Patreon, which is awesome. And I know I should be going, wait for the new tiers because they're going to be great and they're going to cost more money and Meanie and I will make more money and all that. It's wonderful. But I'm, like I said, like, we're like the worst salesmen in the world.
We're horrible.
But realistically, join now. You'll be grandfathered in and then you'll get some sort of a discount even on the higher tiers, once they're there, if you want to then jump to a higher tier, if you've been grandfathered in, you'll get to do that at a discounted rate too. So before December 1st, make sure to join our Patreon. We're having so much fun over there. You can join for $5, $7. You'll be able to get a call and a Zoom. But I got to tell you, if you're just the $5 and you got to pick between a call and Zoom, I know the call sounds like you're chatting with me and Meanie, and that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just you. But I feel like because almost everybody that was on the Zoom call, we had a phone call with before. And there's just something different about the fact that we're seeing each other on the screen. Right. And I don't know, I felt like our conversations were just so much more enjoyable, and everybody
It's kind of like this podcast where just like different people had different thoughts during the course of the conversation, where like we cold call people, and we kind of catch them off guard. They're like, "Hey, you got any questions?" They're like, "Nope." But if we have the Zoom call, like we could just be bullshitting, and then in the course of that, what the call is 5 minutes. The Zoom call's an hour. You got more time to get settled in, situated, and get your mind right to have a conversation.
Yeah, so you can, you ask a question, then we hang up on the call. And that's it. Come back, on the Zoom call. Like we can come back to you. You can ask a question. You ask another question. You ask another question. So yeah, that's it. But definitely check it out. Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. We're having so much fun over there. We're just having such a blast. So thank you, everyone who's already a member. And thank you, everyone who's just listening to our podcast. This is episode 33.
Yeah, man.
We've had, we even had a meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
That like we're like, turning into real businessmen over here, trying to
sorta
look at the future of our podcast, and things are only going to get better. We're having a blast.
We're trying to reach out.
Yeah, we just want to
reach out and touch space.
Yeah.
Or whatever that fucking Depeche Mode song is.
I don't know.
But yeah, trying to open up our boundaries.
Yeah.
Of course, we're in the world of professional wrestling, but we're trying to reach out outside the bubble a little bit, outside our comfort zone, to where be more inclusive. I mean, of course, we love the wrestling world and all that stuff, but I think we have enough where we talk about enough to where anybody from any walk of life can listen in and go, "Oh, that's a fun conversation."
Yeah, and I mean, look, you might if you're not a wrestling fan, but you check out our show. I guess it depends on the episode, right? Yeah. But there's some like this one. We haven't really talked much about wrestling. We talk about wrestling figures of us. I mean, but it doesn't. They just happen to be, action figures. I think that the more we're able to just kind of continue this talk radio type feel where we talk about whatever the hell's going on, and and we go with whatever we're feeling at the time. Like, we don't have topics, but we've had some episodes that people have absolutely loved where we have gone like deep into specific topics. And, and I love those. That's a lot of fun too. Glitterfist wants to know, does Mrs. Meanie do Zoom run-ins? She did.
She did.
Yeah, she did. So
she did. I've been doing that. I did my first, the
new show.
Hold on. I'm having a brain fart. Okay. Well, I'm trying to hold in a real fart, but
let it out.
The Eagles Brawl podcast I did with Connor Miles and Giovanni last Monday, and she did a run-in on that as well. So, and it was cute, Oh,
I'm sorry. That was just the sound of Meanie's fart. Anyway.
Hold on. See.
Are you?
I was trying to.
My sad trombone took too long to come out. That's a statement.
Like when people are like, "Oh, you should get a podcast," and you're thinking like different things. I was definitely thinking of having a fart mic Just riding shotgun just in case I had to let one go.
Dude, we do this remotely. I have no problem with that. So,
yeah, I got the bubble guts going. I'm just
delicious.
Contemplating whether I'm afraid if I stand up and fart into the mic, well, it just not live up to expectations, and then people go, "Oh, Meanie's just a fucking fart poser." You know?
But we could always. I mean, you know what though? As far as your
we've talked about how I've stopped concerts.
Yeah, and I think the expectation is more of a scent than a sound with you. Like I think we all
scent's for real. Yeah,
yeah, we all anticipate the sound to be somewhat monumental on occasion, but it's really the smell that I think everybody associates with you.
Yeah. I'm aiming for decibels here, you know, and just fucking, I don't want to disappoint. Like, I don't want it to be like, you know, and they're like, oh, that's it, you know.
Yeah, just, hey, man.
There's people in the fart world, like the fart world equivalent of a size queen, and, you know, and just, you know, I'm hoping to pull off like an Andre the Giant size fucking... You kind of fucking shake the films in your teeth.
Yeah, but instead you're going to have like...
Yo, Meanie, where's the bass?
Oh, man. All right.
The gas
having
face.
fun with my Roadcaster again.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
It's just the same old...
There you go. That's what I imagine it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Glitterfist is asking for scratch and sniff fart trading cards.
They might get fucking pulled over by customs, you know?
Yeah.
There's a suspicious smelling package over here.
Yep. I mean, that.
Just a fucking plane would go down just for...
Yeah, I mean, that could be deadly. Silent, but deadly.
Silent, but violent.
Yeah. Hey, have you, Blue Meanie, ever seen, I don't remember what the name of the thing is now. Never mind. I retract.
Dude, I'm trying to think.
I was going to ask you if you'd ever seen a TV show, and I can't remember the name of it now.
Hold on, I might have to do this. Hold on.
Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, God.
Did the mic pick that up?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I want to pull that out and make that just one of the buttons on my...
I want to see who makes that their text tone.
Oh, my God.
Hold on, I got to take off my headset. Hold on, I got tears.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Is that the first
Glitterfist says, ass blast, meaning you need to sanitize that mic. Oh, God. I hope we never mix up our microphones. I thought it was bad with Bill Apter's pretzels.
Oh, man.
Here's my Bill Apter microphone.
Oh, my God.
What was that?
Legit.
I think there was like a piece of paper stuck to it there, but I don't know what the hell.
I'll have to get like a legit windscreen or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, man. Don't let poor Tracy talk into that mic. Oh, man. Oh, Meanie.
What's the timestamp on that? 1:15.
Oh,
ish.
Man.
Between 1:14 and 1:15.
Well,
I brought the show to an abrupt Shart.
That's the name of the episode, Abrupt Shart.
Yep.
Here we
Write
go.
it down.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yep. That's it.
Oh, man. Okay. Hey, do you think... how about we go to a commercial real quick, and when we return, maybe we'll ask Meanie anything. How's that sound?
Yeah, please.
All right. Want to show the world how much you love Mind of the Meanie? Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie and check out some of the great merchandise we have over there.
One of my favorites is the new Van Meanie shirt. You know, I'm a big fan of Van Halen, and now I get to show it with my own Van Meanie shirt.
And of course, we have the original Mind of the Meanie logo tee by the great Hal Haney. There's Wreck Every Bathroom and Leave, and so much more. So make sure you check out ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. But if that's not enough for you and you want to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and check out all of the great shirts the Blue Meanie has. Meanie, tell us about those.
Hey, I was a part of this thing called the BWO. I don't know if you've heard. But we have the original Blue World Order shirt that was one of the highest grossing T-shirts in ECW history. And not only do I have that version of BWO, I have BWO Japan, I have BWO Barbed Wire Border, I have BWO Kansas City Royals logo for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, go over to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and get yourself one of the original BWO shirts, man.
And if you feel like you really, really need to, you can also go to ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Shernoff and check out some of the merchandise that I have over there, like the Shernoff tie shirt, or the very popular Sarcasm is My Superpower shirt.
My favorite.
But wait, there's more. Because if we're talking about wrestling shirts, then we have to be talking about the wrestling brand. Collar and Elbow brand.com. Use the promo code Meanie and save 10% over there.
I don't know if you know, but the Blue Meanie and the BWO took over the offices of Collar and Elbow brand. I got a special shirt over there. It's the Collar and Elbow mirror logo, but instead of saying elbow, it says LBWO. So go over there and give Rod Hicks and Al Snow, my big brother, some love and use the promo code Meanie and save yourself some cash.
All right. Welcome back.
Now that we've cleared the air.
What?
Now that we've cleared the air.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Hey, now I think it's time to ask Meanie anything. What do you think?
Yes. It's time to ask Meanie anything.
All right. Oh, man. Okay. Hey, here's one that we never... Here's one from October 3rd from at Tricky McVomit. We never read this on the show. I use... headphone sleep mask to listen to meditations to help me fall asleep. Dude sleeps like a rock. And the second I start to settle in, I can only imagine this is what he's doing. WTF at Blue Meanie BWO. Why you spin a Rooney in the night. Hashtag ask Meanie with a... Meanie, would you like to... that just popped up as like... Yeah.
We have a king-size bed, but for whatever reason, there's a line of demarcation right in the center where she sleeps in the center, and I'm like, I'm close to the edge of the bed, and I can't like roll over like any other normal person. I have to roll over in the same spot.
Mm.
So if I wanted to go from my left side to the right side, I kind of have to like lift up, do a push-up, and go to my left so I don't land on the floor. So yeah, that's why I spin a Rooney. I spin a Rooney in the night.
She added on here, me. Yeah, he's like Booker T in the sheets, if you know what I mean. Them, huh? Me, what? She cracks me up. Hey, quick shout out to Mrs. Meanie and her Etsy page, Pin for the Win.
Yeah, man. She's got some special stickers up there, button packs. And if you get in there and buy one, we'll send you an autographed photo. So go to Etsy, look up Pin for the Win, and get yourself some sweet-looking stickers that she designed.
At Mark Matsuo, Mark in Dryden, is back for more. He's got a question. I see you're an Eagles fan.
Yes.
But are or were you ever a Flyers fan? Being Canadian myself, I'm obviously a hockey fan all the way. Go Habs, Montreal Canadiens, if you weren't aware. Hashtag Ask Meanie. Meanie?
Oh, of course. I'm unapologetically a Philly sports fan, but the Eagles are my more predominant sports team. You know, Philly. I like the Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, and the Union. You know, shout out to Pod Squad member Jeffrey Mitchell, who's part of the Sons of Ben. They are the Philadelphia Union supporters. Sons of Ben are responsible for bringing Major League Soccer to Philly, or football, wherever you're at, and they're a fun time when you go to a Union game and you're sitting with the Sons of Ben, because it's constant yelling and cheering and banging. I got to bang the drum a couple times, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, shout out to Jeffrey Mitchell and his wonderful family.
That's another thing that, like, and he had posted on social media recently him wearing a BWO shirt.
Yeah, he's always rocking the BWO shirt at the games, because their colors are blue. And I did a Philadelphia shirt in Union colors that a lot of the Sons of Ben folks wear to the games, and they've been seen on TV and in photographs and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
You and I both, like, our minds just go wild thinking of all these fun, cool things we could do with the podcast. And we're so staggered by the state of the world. But even, like, I hear about, I see his stuff and you're talking about how much fun it would be. And I'm just instantly thinking, okay, what can we do with Mind of the Meanie and Sons of Ben? Like, how can we, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. What can we do? And my feeling is we're going to get there one day, and I don't know what we're going to do with them, but
their tailgates are amazing. We could just do a Mind of the Meanie for one of their tailgates. It would be a blast.
That would be awesome. And that's some cool stuff there. My buddy Matt Mangle had suggested that we do, he was, half joking once, but he had said, he's like, no, you know what you should do? He's like, you should basically just sit on the back of a pickup truck and do your podcast driving around outside of, like, an arena where a wrestling show is going on. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But no, like, it's that would be a fun thing to be involved, doing it, like, live from, doing something like that, like a tailgate, be it an Eagles game, be it Union, be it WWE's in town or something, like
McCuskers or whatever.
Right.
McCuskers is always the place I go to when there's, like, something on TV worth watching. I want to bust balls with people. Mm-hmm. Like, we always go to McCuskers for the Oscars or the Grammys or whatever, and just do our own version of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Whatever's going on, we're just cracking jokes. So.
I'd love to believe that and none of this has been confirmed, but. We've definitely talked with Fight about alternative commentary happening, like, at the venue of an AEW pay-per-view when it's happening down the line one day. Who knows if that'll ever happen. But obviously, alternative commentary was kind of born out of the, what do we do with Josh? He used to come to the shows and promote AEW. Oh, what can we do with him from home? Oh, he's got the Blue Meanie. What can we do here? And it kind of just snowballed into this awesome thing that we're able to do. Yeah. And I would love to be able to do something like that. WWE, anyone who knows WWE, they're not letting us go to their show and do an alternative commentary, but that's where things like McCuskers comes in, where, like, I would love to be able to do a live on Fight TV, live from McCuskers. Stumbling over that word, and I haven't even had anything to drink. But I would love to do, like, live from there, an alternative commentary with an audience who's there to watch the show, and we've got maybe a big screen with the event going on behind us, or or off to the side, so we can still be on camera without getting in trouble.
They have a 100-inch screen, projection screen that we could sit there and watch and get loaded and stream on Fight
and be
TV,
able to do it,
know?
and it would take our alternative commentary that we're doing now, which is a blast and so much fun, and take it to just a totally different level. So we've got all kinds of plans, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Anthony Camarada has a great question here. Did Meanie have any pre-match rituals, or is there any unique locker room rituals you can recall? Maybe someone else had.
My point was always to, nothing spectacular. Like if I wrestled at the ECW, like for an ECW show, I always sat in the same part of the locker room. As a person, I'm like a back of the classroom kind of kid. I like to be in the back of the room so I can see what everybody else is doing. I don't like anybody sitting behind me. So I always make sure to find a spot in the locker room where I can have full view of like the full locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way when we go to the Oregon Diner. I got to be facing the door to see who's coming in.
I've always been that way too.
I don't know if it's like
a
mob mentality, like somebody's going to come in and whack me or something.
I don't like to be surprised by people. No. So.
No. And I used to
really
annoy.
Serious look on your face there.
Yeah, I used to annoy Al because me and Al would like go to somewhere to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do this thing where I would act like I'm looking over his shoulder at something, and he would turn around. I would do this thing, like for those on Patreon, you could see it. I would go do this, and he would go, "Oh, stop doing that!" He would look over his shoulder like I'm looking at somebody coming up. But yeah, like I gotta have an eye on the door.
Yeah.
No matter where I'm at or eating or whatever. So, as far as rituals I always day of show, I always make sure I have a cutoff point before 2 to 3 hours before a match, because there's been times where I've had something to eat way too close to match time, and I take a bump and I got to roll out of the ring and or whatever. But yeah, just not exciting. Not I got put on this sock first or this shoe first or whatever. I just got to get to the building and make sure I'm seated facing the room. That's about it. I wish I had a more exciting answer, but
the Dingbat Returns asks,
"Hey, I'm right here, pal."
Asks, what's your favorite travel story? Hotel issues, missed flights, etc.
Oh man. This weird, always this weird shit with hotels. Me and Al were I want to say in Michigan somewhere, and we're splitting the room, and we walk into a room, and we just noticed there's like this huge spot on the carpet where you could tell they used to have a hot tub. And it was just like looked like a crime scene, and we were just like turned around and immediately just walked and checked out. We're like, yeah, we're not staying here. Give us our money back. We're leaving. And we just, there's been plenty of times where I've gone to. We were doing Hardcore Homecoming in Pittsburgh, and like out of when ECW was there, we always stayed at the airport Red Roof.
Mm-hmm.
So for House of Hardcore Homecoming, they're like, oh, let's stay at the same Red Roof, but it was something not. It was not the Red Roof anymore. It was the building, but they changed names. It kind of like you could tell when somebody's changed a Wawa over to another store.
Right,
it's
it's
still there.
very much still a Wawa, but
yeah, it's like in where Mrs. Meanie's from in Connecticut. It's called Krausers, but you could tell. Yeah, this used to be a Wawa. So we were staying at what used to be the fucking Red Roof Inn. And at first we go check in, they give us the key, we go to the key, and they give us the key to somebody else's room. There's bags on the bed. And we're like, oh shit. Let's tiptoe out, dust off our prints, wipe our prints off the door in case anything happens in this room. We go to another room and it just smells stale, and we're like, oh fuck. Go in the bathroom, there's like a Band-Aid on the door. Somebody's fucking old band. It's like, oh fuck, let's get the fuck out. And then, with the old Travel Lodge, I know there's at least one room you go in there and there's a chalk outline on the fucking floor. It's like, what the fuck?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That wasn't my experience, but I know somebody went into a room and there's a fucking chalk outline on the floor and shit like that. Just
I've got 2 fun travel stories with hotels that revolve around StarCast. So
Okay.
the first one, I'm trying to think. So it was in Chicago. I guess it was the second one in Chicago, the second Chicago StarCast. And Calvin and I decided to drive to Chicago. I believe you did too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Bill Apter was looking for somebody to take something of his, something to his to Chicago.
I'm sure it's
I think he
books.
got to you first.
I'm sure it was his books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Maybe he was doing a stage show. I don't know.
I don't know. All his gimmicks. But no, so we decided to drive because we had all of like the equipment back then. It was like, a year ago, but we had all the equipment for the camera, like really nice cameras and everything. And then as like the iPhones got better and all, we have little hookups to go directly to the phone so that we can, send all the stuff from Fight TV and to StarCast on, and it's just so much easier. But we had all this equipment that we had brought to Vegas, and it was such a pain in the ass that we were like, you know what? We don't want to fly with all this stuff. We'll just drive. And we had a blast. We had a really good time.
That was a good drive. We did, me, Joel, and Mrs. Meanie did that drive. It was a good drive.
Yeah, it was. And we had a real good time. We get there super late at night.
Yeah.
And I go and I check in and I'm like, hey, Josh Shernoff, I'm in, I've got whatever. And they're like, okay, I was in there with the, so they had all of us on like one floor for if we were working StarCast or if you were like, if they're bringing you in or whatever. So all on one floor. So the guy says to me, he's like, okay, like looks like your roommate's already in there. So here's your key and whatever. And I'm like, my roommate is still in the car because Calvin and I were going to share a room. I'm like, he's still in the car. And they're like, no, and I'm like, no, he's still in the car. No, I'm the first one to check in. And they're like going through, long story short, they double booked the room.
Oh.
And so what we ended up doing, we're like, well, for tonight, just put us, like we asked, we're like, is this guy, like, is he associated? He had nothing to do with StarCast.
Oh my God.
So had that guy not said your roommate's already in there, I would have straight up with that key walked in at 2:00 in the morning, to some dude sleeping in his hotel room, or putting himself over. I don't know, whatever, but no. So so we ended up staying in a different room that night, and then the next morning, they cleaned the room and really cleaned the room, and then they moved us in, which was great until we found out that room was the room next door to the green room.
Mm-hmm.
So like I remember the next day, I like woke up, and I'm like I wake up to the sound of what sounds like Conrad having doing a podcast with Scott Hall. And it's like the weirdest thing because you got Scott Hall and Conrad having a conversation in this super thin wall, and it had like a shared door between our room and that. And I'm just like, I'm lying in bed, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm like, what? What is happening here? And it's like, because I mean, Conrad, when he talks, he sounds like his podcast. He talks, exactly the same. And I'm just
the real deal.
And he's
the
just
genuine article.
What's that?
The genuine article.
Yeah, and it's just, but you've got him, and then you got Scott Hall. You're listening, like, is that Razor Ramon that I'm hearing? Like, it's just the weirdest thing. But so there was that. Then the other StarCast in just about a year ago in Baltimore. We were sharing a room with. We were like not sure if we were going to share a room with like some of the guys from GoPro Wrestling. Great guys, by the way. I don't know if you know them. You definitely know them. But those guys are awesome. But we were going to share a room with them, and they had the 2 rooms, and we're like, we don't know which one we're going to be in, whatever. So we finally go into our room. I go into the bathroom, and there's just like black curly hairs just all over like the floor and like the sink and like I'm like, what the, and I'm like disgusted by this. I'm like looking, and all of us are like, whatever. Turns out one of the dudes from GoPro Wrestling, like got there and was like, man, I needed a haircut, and just kind of gave himself like a little trim around like his ears, and like that was it. But I guess his hair, like it just ended up looking disastrous. But so that was that. It just popped in my head.
On that first Starcast, we were staying at the same hotel. We got in. We made a detour driving there, and
Right, so you could get some burgers, right?
QB burgers, right?
Yeah.
So we get to Chicago maybe like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. It's to the point where they called us to see if we're still coming. Hey, we got these rooms for you. But we get in, we check in, and like we go to bed, and like we had our room overlooked the lobby. Like there was like this patio door as if you're going to the outside. Like, hey, like, no, this is the lobby. So we're like, oh, whatever. So we go to bed, wake up, and we wake up to the sound of Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray doing Busted Open. And, good morning, Chicago! And we're like, what the fuck? So I get up, I look. I was like, all right. So I went to the bathroom, took a shit, got dressed, and then I was like, I'm going to go make them say my name on the radio. And me and Tracy get dressed, run down, and I do the walk where I'm walking near the show, like during the stage. I'm walking through the crowd. I'm keeping eye contact on Bubba, and like I made sure I walked that away. I was like, he's going to notice me. He looked at me. And I went, "What's up?" Like, what's up? And he was like, "Oh, you want to come on?" I was like, "Absolutely." And Mrs. Tracy was just so amazed. I was like, "I'm going to go down there and make them say my name," and they brought me up. And that was a fun little interview I did on Busted Open, and then that was my thing with the room there. It's just like you get in at like 3 a.m. and you're like want to go to fucking get some decent sleep before you have to.
That's the thing. I was so tired. I would have just slept in the bed with that stranger. I was just ready to, I'm like, I don't care what room you give me. Just give me a freaking room.
Dude, we got to Chicago, and Chicago's huge. You're like, oh, we're in Chicago. No, you still got another half hour for. And like, I'm fighting to stay awake behind the wheel. I'm like, guys, you got to fucking entertain me here, because I'm just like, shit like that. Like, I've drank all the Red Bulls. I drank all the energy drinks. I've drank the coffee. I'm just like mentally, I'm just crashing. I'm like, please keep me awake. And then we get to the hotel and check in and bring in all our shit and stuff and just lay down. And then a couple hours later, good morning, son of a bitch.
Devin Miller has a question. Who did Meanie have the best in-ring chemistry with?
Probably Tracy Smothers. Because we called stuff in the back, but once you go out in front of the fans, you kind of feel the fans and call shit on the fly. And definitely Tracy, Tracy Smothers, man. There's so much on the job training and shit like that you had no choice but to learn, and he could communicate with you in a way that, like, in such a great way that, like, nobody would notice that he was talking to you or shit like that, to where everything, some people you work with, everything's dictated in the back, and you try to call things on the fly, and they're just so dedicated to what we called in the back.
Got to be that spot. You got to hit that spot.
Yeah. With Tracy, he talked to you. He would communicate with you in a way that you just keep your ear open and you feed off him,
I remember 2 times being in the ring, both early in my career. So I was in there with people less experienced than me, which is always a recipe for disaster. Because now I'm the ring general, who is a guy who very much needs to be led in the ring. But there were times we just forgot what was going on out there, and I would like call something, and they couldn't. And first of all, whatever I was calling, I'm sure it didn't make any sense. It was a panicked call as it was. Yeah. But they're like, both of those times was just like, huh, what? Like, I remember once I sent the guy off the ropes. I figured I was gonna. I sent him off to give him a drop toe hold, and I called it, and I called I called drop toe hold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's basically what I did. I called a drop toe hold. I sent him off the ropes. To me, it was pretty much common sense. You're coming off the ropes. You're taking the drop toe hold, you know?
Yeah.
And I sent him off the ropes, drop toe hold, because my thought was I'll do that. I'll spin around like front chancery thing or something, you know, and stall and go, okay, no, what were we supposed to do?
Yeah.
I sent him off. He comes back and he like jumps at me to drop toe hold me coming off the ropes while I'm in the middle of about to take him down with a drop toe hold. And that looked beautiful. It was fucking horrible. So, I mean, it's something, it just made me think of it when you're talking about, you know, the people who need to stick to it, but for you to be able to be in there, and that was, I mean, this poor guy, you know, like I said, he's less experienced than me, and at that point I was, you know, green as goose shit, as they say, but so for you to be able to have that opportunity with a guy like Tracy Smothers,
Yeah.
dude, not only if you forget something, but somebody who's able to feel the crowd, know when it was time to say, hey, scratch that thing we were planning to do before, we've got, you know, here's where we got to take it.
Yeah, we would wind up, he would do stuff with the crowd, and you wind up eliminating most of the shit you called in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, it was such we'd be 10 minutes in the match, and we really hadn't done anything, but the crowd's so fucking fired up and into it. That shit, we could just go right to the fucking heat, you know?
It's reminiscent of, like, I think someone who's really talented like that is somebody who does like a guitar solo, let's say, in concert.
Yeah.
You know what the solo is from the album. You know the exact, you know, notes that you could hit and make it exactly what that solo is for that song.
Right.
But you can then go out there and make it something unrecognizable to what it was on the album, but amazing because you're going by your feel. And you always have those original chords and the original notes to fall back on. And that's why you talk some shit out in the locker room and figure out what you're going to do. You have this stuff to fall back on, this blueprint of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But to be able to, you know, but there's a true talent in being able to go out there and feel the crowd. And I mean,
it's good to know what your opponent can actually do too, because there's times I've gone in the ring and the person's, I've been in the business 12 years, but it's been like one match a year for 12 years. It's like, oh. And then there's like I was working for this promotion, and there's a series of matches where they kept putting me on three-way dances. I was like, dude,
those suck.
Working in three-way dances fucking suck. And it's just like, you're the most experienced person in there, and you're trying to dictate for two people what to do, and it's just like, oh my God, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? You know, it's like, fuck. But yeah, Tracy Smothers, the best, man.
At Johnny Rassel asks, favorite match you've ever seen live?
Wow. Shit. I mean,
outside of when you ended what's his name's career?
What, Mark Marr's career?
No, not Mark Marr's career. God, why am I blanking? We just watched it on watch along on Patreon.
Oh, Nikita Koloff.
Nikita Koloff, thank you. Oh man, yeah. When you outside of that one, it would have been a funnier joke had I been able to remember who the fuck whose career you ended. Hey, and for those of you who don't know the reference, there, go to patreon.com/mindofthemeanie and check out our October watch along, and you will find out how the Blue Meanie ended Nikita Koloff's career.
Dude, I've been to so many shows. I've been to a couple big shows. I went to WrestleMania 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Halloween Havoc 92 in person.
I would say,
I mean, seeing
favorite match, not necessarily the best match you've ever seen, but like favorite match, like what was
in person?
That you.
Man, that's a lot. I've seen a lot of wrestling. I'm in as a fan, and you know, as being in the business.
Sure.
I guess my favorite moment would be seeing Savage win the belt at WrestleMania 4, and then there's so many wrestlers, a lot of people I haven't even heard of that, I've seen their matches like, man, that's a fucking great fucking match, There's a guy from Michigan, Steve Nixon, who's an amazing wrestler, just never got a chance. He could have hung with like any of the cruiserweights. I had some good matches. I had some great matches with him, and he was a funny guy and great wrestler, great worker. I just never got a chance, to explode. For matches, everybody's probably known. Probably favorite match to see live was probably Savage winning the against Ted DiBiase, just for atmosphere and the build up and all that stuff that led into it. And then, I went to Memphis. I, see, Jerry Lawler in action, working the crowd and working his magic.
Right.
So I'm working out going, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Thinking like I had any fucking, chance of making him go 5 more minutes. By chance, I used the chair of Vader and, he used it. So, yeah. Just for the sake of people not hearing me fucking reach for it, probably Savage winning at WrestleMania 4. But I've seen so much wrestling. I know as soon as we're done the show and I think in a little bit longer, I'll probably go, son of a bitch.
Dude, that's a tough. Like I agree. Like I can't. Great question, but I couldn't.
Excellent
off the top
question.
of my head, I couldn't come up with what was my favorite match I ever saw.
Yeah, I saw Scorpio and Sabu have a great match in front of like 20 people up in upstate Michigan. There's a part of Michigan called the Upper Peninsula where it's like you and wildlife, but like there's this promotion ran a small show up in the Upper Peninsula, and it was Sabu and Scorpio, and it was a great match. And the crowd was so small that they had to be careful how they fucking called their match. So like Scorpio would go to do like a dive out and he would go, Sabu, like, I'm coming to get you, but like he was basically telling Sabu, "Look out, I'm doing a dive." It was that small of a show. The fact that you got to see these two great performers killing each other in front of like literally nobody. I've seen so much different shit.
This is a fun question here. This is a long answered question. James at Paul Smackage, which is great. Fantasy book a pay-per-view card, 6 matchups, and they all must be someone you have previously worked with. It can span time, and we class each in their prime. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if you want to do 6 matches, but
I could barely think of matches I've actually seen.
But the book. How about this? How about to kind of change that a little bit? We're booking a card. What is your opening match of this card? It's your dream card. It's your opener, the way we're going to set the tone for the show. And what's your main event?
There are people I've had to wrestle?
The people that you have worked with before.
Shit.
Like a match you think could just be a great opener, get the crowd.
Oh, a great
going.
opener would probably be fucking FBI versus anybody, really. Because if you're going to book a show, your opening match needs to set the tone, for the show. And, the most important matches on a show is the opener, the closer, and the match, coming out, going into intermission or coming out of intermission. They're
basically the opener and closer of those segments almost, right?
Yeah. This is going to be a hard one. A little bit too long. Let me see. Opener, I mean, it'd probably be,
What if we said, what would be a dream? How about this? It's WrestleMania.
Right.
You get to book, they say, Meanie, you're booking the main event for WrestleMania this year. And other than putting yourself in there, managed by me.
I would never put myself in. Yeah. I know my role.
They come to you and they say, Meanie, we need you to book the main event. We're stuck. We don't know what we're doing. By the way, you can pick from anybody that you've ever wrestled, and they're all in their prime. This needs to be a great main event.
I wrestle mostly mid-carder, so you don't want to book a mid-carder in a fucking main event. Of
Little Guido versus Jason.
Little Guido versus Nova. Not
okay.
that wouldn't be a great match.
Then forgetting that, how about anyone of all time? I'm changing this as much as I can. I want to get a good answer out of you. Anyone of all time, you get to book the main event of WrestleMania using any two, we're going to say male talents, for the sake of argument, any two male talents of any time. You don't have to have worked them before.
Right.
What is your
I would love to see $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wow.
Full blown.
Prime of both.
Prime $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wow.
And Steve Austin, Ted DiBiase could be part of the corporation. If you want to, jumble fucking rosters and do time jumps, imagine, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's versus part of, Vince McMahon's corporation, and he's his champion instead of The Rock. He handpicked champion instead of The Rock, and Ted DiBiase's going after that winged eagle belt from Stone Cold Steve Austin right after he had won it from Shawn Michaels or something like that. I think they could have had a great fucking match.
Oh man, absolutely.
Yeah, because
wow.
I always thought Mid-South Ted DiBiase and Stone Cold Steve Austin could have been a great tag team as well. Like I could see Steve Austin and Bill Watts UWF.
Yeah, I think $1 Million Man was such a strong character that sometimes people forget what an incredible worker.
Oh, he's a great worker.
He was.
Savage would take him and jump over the top rope and wring his neck on the fucking top rope, and DiBiase would take that fucking bump and flip up on his neck to where he would land on his stomach, which probably led to his fucking neck problems later on. But yeah, if I was going to have a main event for a WrestleMania of any generation, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, both at their fucking prime, injury-free fucking selves. That'd be amazing.
What about it's been talked about so many times, Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan? Do you think there is a time period, because here's the thing. For Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan, I think it's all about timing and story to make that as big as people would immediately think it should be.
Mm-hmm.
DiBiase, I could see those characters in their prime put wherever in any time period and whatever. And I think that sounds like such an intriguing and fun. And of course, obviously, Stone Cold came into the company with Ted DiBiase, as the ringmaster.
I mean, I would love to see Steve Austin be a tag team with David Schultz and shit like that, man. Those guys can fucking start riots.
Yeah.
Just
the Stone Cold character. Which, I mean, there were different Stone Cold characters. You think 96, when he first really was, coming into his own, was a very different character than the guy with the beer truck,
Right.
It's very different. Right. I love both, honestly. But I think, heel Stone Cold from, 96 would have worked with, I guess 96 would have worked with old school babyface Hogan.
Yeah,
I think.
Because he would have been such a great aggressive heel.
And I think you would have had to have white hot, 98, 99 Stone Cold against, I guess, 97, 98 Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah.
That would have been, at that time, which I don't know that that's necessarily what people consider Hogan in his prime, but in the Hollywood Hogan days, absolutely. That
heel
would have
Hogan,
been, it would have, by the time he came back, when we saw this with Hogan and The Rock at WrestleMania, the nostalgia was so big for Hulk Hogan that the Hollywood thing didn't work. But if you take white hot babyface Stone Cold Steve Austin in his beer truck days, his feud with Mr. McMahon, and you put him against not the crap NWO that came in 2002, breaking cinder blocks on Austin's knee and stupid shit like that, but you put him against WCW Hollywood Hogan, that I think would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I love your answer though with $1 Million match. Like I got excited for that match.
Yeah.
Now I'm just let down. So thank you, Meanie.
Sorry. Yeah, but fantasy booking a whole show of people I worked with, that people that
I guess go to 3PW. Watch.
Yeah.
Is that what that was? Right? Did you?
Yeah.
Fantasy book people you worked with, pretty much, right? But then you got to.
I basically worked with I didn't work too many different people there either. I had a good match. One of my favorite matches from 3PW was me and Roadkill versus the Hit Squad. That was a good tag match. That was a fun match.
Hey, shout out to Roadkill for tweeting out about our action figures.
Yeah, man, he's big into the collectibles and stuff like that, But he hit me up about that. I was like, "How can I get this?" Yeah, that's how he talks. But Roadkill's a good dude, man. Good dude. But just to book a whole show of 6-match card of people I worked with. As far I haven't worked that many people that a lot of people would know of. They go, "Oh, that'd be interesting," Yeah, I could go Steve Nixon versus Nova, and people are like, "Who?" Steve Nixon was a tremendous worker, and him and Nova could have had an amazing opening match on any show. You get the crowd fucking fired up, Yeah. But there's a lot of people I've worked with that a lot of people probably haven't heard of. So, and that's no disrespect for them. They were good workers. They just never had a chance to break out.
Some of the best workers in the history of wrestling never had a chance to break out.
That's why I hate lists. You go, "Oh, this guy's the greatest wrestler of all time." Well, so-and-so could have been the greatest worker of all time. He just never had the connections to make it.
Me, had Al Snow not lost all that footage of the, 7-star classics I was putting on in Lexington, Kentucky at house shows, I wish that people could see that. And, I'd like to think a lot of the guys today grew up kind of idolizing my in-ring style of wrestling.
Yeah. To me, one of my favorite rock bands of all time is Swamp Candles, but, everybody just knows the BWO theme.
Sometimes sarcasm can't be deciphered over just audio, so I want to make it incredibly clear. Nobody patterned their in-ring career after me, unless they're learning from mistakes. So that's not true, actually. Not patterned after me, but kind of patterned after. So I have a buddy of mine who actually wrestles in Texas, and he's one of my best friends in high school, his younger brother. So he was a real young kid, and he used to actually go watch me wrestle, and really did kind of pattern himself a little bit after me before he became obviously exposed to, better wrestling than that. But so I like to still pretend that he grew up idolizing me, even though
take it, man. Take it.
Glitterfist, please don't message Al and bitch him out. For 2 reasons. One, the poor man just had a double knee replacement surgery. So speedy recovery to Mr. Al Snow. But also on the off chance that you piss him off so much that he digs up the footage.
Oh, I found it.
Yeah. There's some stuff. Maybe on Patreon sometime I'll show clips of me jobbing out in Derby City Wrestling or something like that.
Why not, man? Why not?
It'll be pretty quick as you see me running in, climbing up the ropes, getting knocked into the Tree of Woe, and then powerbomb for the finish. I think that's
somewhere I got my first match that I never want to see ever again, but
Glitterfest, I know you're kidding. No worries. When are you going to join us on Patreon? Obviously you're on Patreon, but on our Zoom call, we all want to talk to you and say hello. Anyway, Last question here, I think, from Devin Miller, and this ties in perfectly to promote the show that aired 2 days ago. How excited are you guys for Eddie versus Mox? I think they've got an incredible story going into it. I am very excited for it. I think Eddie Kingston was a guy that I always knew of him, was not very familiar with his work. And when he first came out on AEW, I was like, okay. I mean, it's kind of cool. Guy cuts a good promo, whatever. Since then, I am all in on him. He is so. I love the way he talks.
Yeah.
It's real. It's just 100% real. I watch him and I have no question in my mind that everything he's saying is real, whether it is or not. I am just so sucked into it. That is one of the ones that I'm very, very much looking forward to. And an I Quit match, that's always fun from a story standpoint. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this, the match was really good and we did a great job on alternative commentary.
Oh, I'm sure.
Discussing it. But yeah, you excited for that one, Meanie?
Yeah, man. I'm always been a big fan of Eddie Kingston. Besides the fact that he's a student of the business, great talker, great worker, really humble guy. I don't know if that maybe it's just because I'm from ECW. He was a big ECW fan, but I don't want to blow his cover, being respectful and stuff like that. Good dude, man, and I'm so happy for him. I'll be rooting for him. And talk about two guys who have that tangible of being legit badasses. Moxley, legit badass. Eddie Kingston, legit badass. This has a match of the year candidate written all over it.
Yeah, I want to see him win the title, to be honest. And I love Moxley, don't get me wrong. Fun fact, hated Dean Ambrose. Couldn't stand to watch him. I couldn't. Always respected the John Moxley, the person, respected his abilities. Never enjoyed the presentation of Dean Ambrose. Save for a couple times, maybe in the very beginning in the Shield and stuff like that.
Well, the Shield was amazing.
Over that I liked Dean Ambrose in the beginning. I remember when he had a U.S. title run and stuff. I was like, all right, he was my guy back then. I was actually really pulling for him. It was that jeans and wife beater Dean Ambrose. Even when he was world champion in WWE, I couldn't get behind it. And as it turns out, he couldn't either. He was very unhappy with a lot of the direction.
Everything you're saying, he probably goes, yep.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and that's the thing. And again, no knock on him whatsoever, but no. I did not enjoy watching the presentation. From day one in AEW, he's been one of the most enjoyable.
With the things you can say and can do. There's certain things you can't say, and you wind up doing a bunch of the stuff you can do over and over again, and it becomes a little bit monotonous.
One of the things with him too, when I first met him it was one of the it may have been at the first Dynamite or something, because I didn't see him at the AEW pay-per-view because he was a big surprise and nobody knew he was there. When I first met him, the biggest thing that shocked me about him was how damn big he is.
Yeah, big
because
boy.
he looked during his Dean Ambrose run. Look, understand he's standing there with Roman Reigns. He's a big dude, he's in there a lot of people, but he looked kind of smaller. He looked to me, I was like, he's kind of on the smaller side of things. That is a big dude.
Yeah,
it's a really.
I
big
met
dude.
him. I always talk about that time I went to SmackDown. I met him at SmackDown. He came up and talked to me, and I was doing stuff with the Monster Factory, and he had trained with Les Thatcher. So I guess he knew Les had come to the Monster Factory. He's like, you guys having Les come in and all stuff. And we had a really cool conversation, even if it was brief, but I walked away going, dude, it's pretty fucking big.
Yeah. I've honestly had as much as I love to put myself over, nothing more than a hello with him. Yeah. But he's always a nice, once upon a time when you're allowed to shake hands, always a nice handshake hello. But it's yeah, sometimes you see these guys, and I remember on my senior class trip to Florida, to Disney World from when I was senior in high school. Our school did a class trip to Disney. And I'm walking, and all of a sudden I see this like jacked up big dude. It was Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah.
And I met him, and I could not get over. Like, I'm like, you're like, but you're not big. You're like really tiny. I don't understand what's going on here. And he was just a big dude. Yeah. And like, you know, I mean, and it's all relative, you know, compared to me in high school. My height was pretty much the same, but you know, I was even scrawnier. So, you know, to get back to my graduation weight, I'd have to cut a limb off. But but no, I you know, so it's always kind of neat when you meet these people. You see how you're one of them too. I couldn't how tall you are and how just big, and I'm not making like a joke, like how big you are.
Well, sometimes I forget that too, because I'll look at people and I'll think, oh, that guy's my height. And then like, we'll be next to a mirror or something. I'll look over and I'll see I got a good, 6 inches on somebody. Yeah. I'm bad at perception.
Like you and height. I on here, we look relatively the same size. That is not the case in person. I feel like when we eventually do live shows, people are going to come to it and they're either going to go, wow, I didn't realize how big Meanie was, or more likely go, holy crap, Josh is small.
But bring the phone book you're sitting on. So
yeah. Oh man, no, it's not a phone book. Anyway, what? Remember that after microphone? Anyway, so no, I'm just asking if you remember it sitting here next to me. All right. Well, hey, thank you everybody for the questions.
So anticlimactic.
Oh man. Hey, let's do one more little commercial break before I
shit myself.
Bring it home here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retromania Wrestling!
Hey Meanie, do you remember playing some old school wrestling arcade games?
Oh, absolutely, man. I spent many hours in the old arcade as a kid, spending endless quarters for endless hours.
Well, now, guess what? They're back. The old school style wrestling game is back with Retromania Wrestling. Retromania comes to you from Retrosoft Studios, which is a video game development company creating modern games with a retro feel. Retromania Wrestling is the official sequel to the 1991 arcade hit WrestleFest, and it's set to be released for the PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Dude, I've spent so many hours playing the original WrestleFest in the arcade. Now I get to be a part of the official sequel, and that is amazing.
The roster is stacked. From Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, to Tommy Dreamer, Nick Aldis, Colt Cabana, Johnny Retro, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and so many more. And as you mentioned, the BWO. That's right, all three of you for the first time ever in the same game, the Blue Meanie, Big Stevie Cool, and Hollywood Nova. But there's more. The man announcing all of you to the ring, well, it's this voice you're hearing right now. That's right, Josh Shernoff, me. I will be the official ring announcer of Retromania Wrestling. So go to retromaniawrestling.com now and pre-order this game. Just to put a bow on Meanie's oh no.
Nah.
No sound?
No. I don't want to push the issue.
All right. An abrupt Shart to end the show.
Yeah.
No, Glitterfist had said, wrestling ruined my height perception. I thought X-Pac was like 5'6" when I was younger. Yes, he was another one. One of the StarCasts, I met him for the first time when he was checking into the hotel, and it was the first time I'd ever met him. Man. Holy crap, he was so tall. Yeah. Like, I couldn't believe it. But anyway.
He's one of those guys I felt like I knew before I met him, because Phil Slee, who got me into the business, helped him in the business. Mm-hmm. And many of our conversations are like, "Oh, I was just talking to Sean. He's still eating mozzarella sticks, and I wish he wouldn't do that." Or it's very motherly things she would say about him. And so when I met him, we had that bond.
Mozzarella
Great
sticks.
Here's speaking of 3PW. Before we wrap it up, like he had this legendary match with Sabu in Minnesota for Dennis Corluzzo. It's like a Corluzzo NWA mixed with this other guy with legendary announcer Mick Karch from the AWA calling the match. And then when we started doing 3PW shows, I just realized they had never had a rematch for Sabu and X-Pac. So I booked the official second and third matches to that first match. So that was pretty cool. And then I booked an Al Snow Sabu anniversary match. It was like almost 10 years to the date. We're running our next show. I was like, we gotta have Sabu and Al as a nod to the match that kicked off their feud. So that was a kind of cool thing I got to do with 3PW and stuff like that. But the footage is out there.
Didn't it seem like you're talking like a 10-year anniversary thing? Like, didn't it seem that first 10 years like a lot more happened? Like it was a lot longer than the next 10 years.
Absolutely.
Time is,
Me and Tracy have been together 15 years, and I can remember the day we met in person and all this stuff like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. Everything depends the perspective and how you look at it, and my wife and I will look at how long we've known each other, and then we look and we're like, God, like time like flew by, but then we're like, okay, but we also did get married and have we also dated for a while before we got married, and then we had 3 kids, and we've definitely a lot has happened.
Yeah,
but for some reason, like you look back and you're just like, man, like how I don't understand, like how was that 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Like that should have been seems like it should be so much shorter, so much longer.
And stuff with like Facebook now, they give you on this day 8 years ago, and you're like, really?
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Holy shit.
Well, and I think that a lot of people, I think it's going to skew people's memories a lot this year, because I think in a lot of ways, like I'll look at something and I'll be like, okay, last year back in 2018.
Yeah.
And like, because it just doesn't seem like I'm talking about right now, like I was just saying when I was the StarCast in a year ago in, where were we? Baltimore.
Yeah.
And it does not feel like that was a year ago. It feels like that was a couple months ago.
Right.
And it's just crazy because this whole year has just, into a black void somewhere.
Yeah. It's been non-existent.
Yep. But this episode has been existent, and I've had a blast, Meanie.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Some audible, some not.
Some risky. That's risky business, baby.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, anything else you'd like to say to our pod squad before we wrap it up here?
Thank you for everybody listening along live or Monday morning. Thank you to Cella Toys for this fantastic thing we're doing right now with our double pack that's in the process of being done. Thank you to Matt Cardona and Brian Myers for showing us some love on their podcast. It means a lot. I mean, just for them to give us some love. So. And also, thanks for everybody for listening. We're here each and every week to entertain you and ourselves. So this is still fun. That's part of my week.
Me too. Samesies, as a man I know likes to say.
Word.
Yeah, agree completely. Thank you, everybody. And yes, again, remember, if you're outside the U.S., go to cellatoys.net. And if you are inside the U.S., you can go to Instagram and you can send a DM over to @JBToys1. and order those. Get them by November 15th so we can send you the concept art signed by myself and the Meanie. Make sure to check out all our merchandise. Cameo for Meanie. What else we have? Tons of other things. Just go check out all of our stuff. And make sure to come back next week, next Monday, for another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.